So imagine building your own Netflix-style drama series without hiring writers, voice actors, or even touching the video editing. Today, I'm talking to someone who did exactly that, using just one AI tool to create short, addictive drama episodes that people actually pay to watch. We're breaking down exactly how he did it, from idea to website to subscribers, and how you could do the same. Welcome back to Interest to Income. I'm glad you're here. We are a site where we talk about ways that real people are turning their interest into income. And today we've got a special guest. Jason Rosenau is with us.
Hey.
Jason built a drama content site almost powered entirely by AI. And I'm excited for one to visit with him and see how he did it and how easy it can be done for everyday people. So we're going to get right into this, Jason. I've got a couple questions for you. Are you ready?
Zing away.
Okay. So let's start at the very beginning. Where did this idea come from?
Well, when I was a little kid, no, I didn't start that long ago.
We don't have hours.
Good luck with that. So I actually, you probably don't know this, but this charming young lady here is my wife, Elizabeth. And we used to work together, and she was sort of, I wouldn't say the necessary evil, but she was on the forefront of pushing AI and its use in the workplace. Now me, I'm in IT. I'm just a knuckle dragger that goes around and fixes servers and computers and things. I wasn't anti-AI, but I do a lot of physical things, and I wasn't necessarily on board with AI. However, after spending time with her and realizing that it's not going away, a lot of people are afraid of it because they don't know what it does, I decided to embrace it. And so this whole idea is part of my journey, trying to figure out not only how to understand AI, but how to leverage it to my benefit and possibly make some income off of it. So that's sort of in a nutshell, not a nutshell, a big nutshell, of what started me down this road.
So what inspired drama-style content?
Well, sort of like the dog chasing its tail. You know, we've been looking at YouTube channels for a while, and one thing they say is you don't generally put videos up there that you like, you put videos up there that your audience wants to see. There's a fine line between that, but in this case, I totally chased the tail and basically found a couple other sites that were doing similar type things and thought, okay, let's see if I can backwards engineer this, and there seems to be possibly a big market for it. Could take off. It might be a nothing burger, but I figured, you know, the others are doing it, and I don't see a lot of websites out there that are. It's a good opportunity to give it a shot.
You know, I actually saw in the media that these bite-sized soap operas have become a $1.3 billion business in the U.S. So I think you're on the right track.
Well, yeah, and you know, one of the things that I don't know a lot, but I do know that with all the streaming services, Netflix and Paramount and Amazon, we are a society now that binge watches.
Yeah.
And that's sort of the whole purpose of this, is they're quick bite-sized little chapters, and you know, you could sit down in an hour and binge a whole book. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of the binge worthiness, I guess, was one of the attractions that took me to this also.
So one of the more interesting parts is that, to me, is that you did this all basically using one AI tool. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Do you want to know what that tool is?
So,
or should I wait to the very end like a teaser?
No, you can go ahead and share with us.
So I don't take full credit for this because, again, I know my wife and I spent a lot of time we say researching on YouTube, but it really is. We watch it for entertainment, but we also are looking for, again, things that can make our lives simpler, ways that we may be able to monetize things, just a lot of different things. I basically stumbled onto this, and it's called Manus. I believe it's Manus AI, M-A-N-U-S. Not like praying mantis, M-A-N-T-I-S. I believe, and it's designed for things like this nature, creating books, editing books, modifying. I believe the MANUS is short for manuscript. Correct me if you know.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So basically Manus.ai is the tool that basically created all of this stuff.
So am I right then in thinking that step one is you create the story itself with Manus?
Sort of. So the whole point of this, in my mind, was to try to leverage AI to do as much of this as possible. Make no mistake, I'm not an author. I don't claim to be. I'm not one on TV, and I'm not one in real life. I'm not on TV. But my thought was, let's see what it can come up with. And so I gave it some parameters. There are a handful of other sites out here that have these bite-sized drama series. So I basically put a script together that said, look at these different sites and come up with 10 book ideas based on what their bestsellers, current titles are, and that kind of stuff. So I had the AI go in and do the research based on what sites were already out there and that are successful. And so that's how I got started.
So it's kind of interesting. You're not just saying, write me a story. You're guiding it. And then I heard you say prompting. So prompting is pretty darn important. Would you say there's good prompting and bad prompting?
Well, there's always good prompting and bad prompting. One of the guys...
So you're not just saying, Mantis, write me a story about blah, blah, blah.
No, I told Mantis, now you're going to say Manus, M-A-N-U-S, not Mantis. Manus.
My bad.
To go and evaluate the sites that were out there and then give me book ideas, titles. So it will go back. Step one is prompting that to go to these sites and research and find how long, give me 10 titles that would be comparable to what's out there that are bestsellers that I can turn into books. So it basically gives me 10 titles.
Okay.
And that's the starting point. Then at that point you dig a little deeper and you say, okay, I like this book title here. So then you take that book title and then you say, okay, what would, give me an outline of what this book would look like based on the title, and so it will give you an outline of what it thinks that the book should look like. And at that point, you have the ability to accept, decline, modify, make any changes you want to, and then basically you feed it back in with more information like how long do you want the chapters? How many chapters do you want to be? How do you want it? So you put parameters in that you want. If you want to do a full-blown novel, you can. That wasn't my goal. My goal was to do short little, maybe a 1-hour book that has 5 to 10 minute chapters. And so basically you feed it all that information. You can create characters, add names, change names. So again, you have an opportunity to do that. And then you just allow it to go forward with the idea of the title, whatever the title is. It's going to be based on something of that nature. And based on the prompts and the input you give it, it will spit out chapters for you.
So you're using Manus to create these short little chapters. About how long did you say each one is, each chapter?
My parameter said 5 minutes, but as anybody who's used AI knows, there's AI drift, and so I don't think any of mine are 5 minutes. I think they're all at least 5 minutes. I don't think any longer than 8 or 9 minutes.
So talk to us about cliffhangers. Do you have a cliffhanger in every episode?
That's what the whole point of this would be, to make it binge-worthy. So you want to have that cliffhanger. And so yes, by the time you get to the end of the first chapter, the last thing they're talking about almost poses a question to get you to click on the next book and the next book. So there definitely is a cliffhanger aspect to it.
So you can create in Manus, you can edit in Manus. You chose to do short series content. So you could also, so it's writing. What about audio? Because I know audio is super popular.
Yes.
Did you do audio?
I did. That was the whole purpose of this. Mine wasn't designed to be videos, short videos, or necessarily reading. It's for people on the go. It's, I guess, sort of sort of like a spin-off of Audible, but designed for short, fast-paced, drama-based chapter books. And so there is functionality within Manus to do TTS, text-to-speech, and it's not incredible, but it works. You don't have the inflection, you don't get the greatest, narration necessarily, but it can do that. Or there are other products out there that you have to pay for. Well, you have to pay for Manus up to a certain level too, but there are other AIs out there that do a better job. But yes, you can do that within Manus. So by the time you create your book and your chapters and all that stuff, then you basically say, well, prompt that you want this chapter, copy and paste the chapter back into Manus and say, I want you to generate narration, and you can describe the voice, and there are certain parameters you can put in it, and it will, because the purpose of this is, for me, is audiobooks, not for reading books. Somebody's going to maybe click on it and listen to it, while they're doing something else.
Gotcha.
So there is that functionality built in. There are other AIs out there that do a better job than Manus, but Manus is a one-stop shop for this project.
So one thing that you did that I thought was pretty smart, and I'd like to know your logic behind it. So Manus, as I understand it, also houses these series, but you actually created your own platform. So tell us why you did that.
Well, so the whole point of creating these is you have to market it somewhere. You have to put it somewhere. And the beauty of Manus is that it has that functionality built into it. So when you're done with this book, you can say, okay, now create me a ding, 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 and put all the information you want for a website. And then you want it to be a paid site. So it hosts it. For most people, it's probably not a big deal, but I've been in IT long enough. I want to own it. It's more responsibility, it's harder to set up a lot of times, but it's mine. If Manus goes out of business, I don't have to worry about my website going away or my audiobooks disappearing.
Yeah.
So that was the reasoning I did it. So essentially I bought the domain fastfictionlisten.com and basically used another AI. So I guess I can't say this is 100% Manus, but I had to use another AI to get the coding off of that and move it over to my new domain.
Okay.
So that was sort of the process. So I want to own it. I want to be responsible for it. So if something does happen to AI, or I decide I don't want to pay the monthly fees, I have it hosted somewhere else. I have full control over it. So.
But someone out there could go to Manus and generate their own short story content using all of Manus tools.
Everything that I've done was done through Manus.
Okay.
So again, the website too. The website is still there. I didn't remove the website. I just downloaded the website and a copy of it and moved it to a different platform, my own. But again, this is something you can do all through Manus.
So this is a big question. You've done all this. You have a website. And I think what most people don't realize is that there are millions of websites out there, and how is anyone in the world going to find you? So how do you drive traffic? How do you make sales? So if you've got this on your website and your idea, so talk to us about how you're making money, the concept of how you're making money and how you're driving traffic.
Okay, well, this is brand new, so a full disclosure, I'm not making any money yet.
Fair enough.
I'm not making a penny yet. However, I'm learning a lot along the way, which is part of my goal, was to understand all these different AI engines and models. But the idea now would be to market it. So one of the things that I'm trying to do now is I actually have a YouTube channel called Fast Fiction Listen. And what I'm doing is posting tidbits of the first chapter of each book so that you can hear it, listen to it. Also, TikTok is I started messing with TikTok 3, 4, 5 months ago, and so I'm going to do the same thing. I've got a bunch of 30-second videos of the first chapter of each of these books. I've got multiple books out there, and with the splash screen that's got the URL, so hoping that we'll be able to use social media, or I'll be able to use social media to drum in any business. So, and it's a pay site. You get the first 2 chapters free of each book, and then if you want more, then there's a subscription-based, I think $4.99 for the standard, and if you want early access to Coming Soon and things of that nature, then it jumps up to $8.99, so you have a few more bonuses. But it's a paid site trying to leverage social media to drive traffic to the website.
I love this. I think this is brilliant. I think it's probably one of the more creative uses for AI to take something, create something, and turn it into a subscription-based business that truly anyone could do as a way to earn money online.
Right, and it may not be an overnight. I don't expect anything is overnight, but it is mine. I own it. I can generate as many books as I want on my own time, but it's always going to be there. So it's not, if all of a sudden it takes, like a lot of people on YouTube, it's not their first couple of videos that take off. They have done it for multiple months, maybe have 15, 20 videos, and then all of a sudden one catches fire and then people go back. That's sort of the path I think this is going to take. It's not going to just pop up overnight and
Sure.
checks to the bank.
You never know.
I know.
Stay tuned. We might have an update for you.
Yeah.
So I guess one of my takeaways to everyone watching is that you do not need a full production team anymore to create businesses and opportunities like this online. So Jason, if people want to, where would they go to reach you? Where would they go to find you? What are your sites?
Well, if you go to YouTube, again, they're all sort of the same. If you do @Fast Fiction Listen, you can see my YouTube channel. I have a TikTok channel, and I'm a little torn right now. I guess it's going to go @AZGrizTech, AZGriztek.
What's your website?
The website is fastfictionlisten.com. Fastfictionlisten.com.
I love that name. That's great.
Yeah, it's a little long, but it's sort of catchy, Try to say Fast Fiction Listen.
Fast.
Say that, fast 3 or 4 times, but it's appropriate and it was available. I thought it was catchy, so.
So making money online is definitely becoming more and more accessible to people. And I want to point out in the description below, I have a free blueprint that talks about what I am doing, which is a beginner-friendly way to earn income online with a done-for-you system. So if you're interested, definitely feel free to check that out. And then I also want to encourage you, if you want to continue to get little tidbits on turning interest that you have into income, I want you to subscribe. Like and subscribe this video. Drop us a comment. I'd love to see what you're doing. And maybe actually we'll connect one of these days and I can interview you as well. So Jason, thanks for being here.
And don't forget her website, becauseblessed.com.
Look at this. Thank you. Have a great day.